Hey guys, welcome back. This is Dan. Of course, I'm going to be doing my StarCraft 2 commentary, weekend commentary exactly. I decided actually to do my StarCraft 2 on my weekend. So it is a StarCraft 2 weekend, another StarCraft 2 beautiful weekend. And this map, of course, is Ohana, and we do have two players playing against each other. On the bottom right corner of Ohana, we have MillStephano as the Zerg player, and on the top left, we do have Supernova as the red Terran player versus the white, I do believe, Zerg player. So interesting color. I don't see a lot of people picking the white color, but anyways, as mentioned, I did decide to make the StarCraft 2 commentaries on the weekend. So it is a StarCraft 2 weekend, and I'm going to be getting back to StarCraft more and more as I am finishing off my Let's Play series for my Cities Excel, and of course my Jagged Alliance is coming to an end. So I'm going to be picking up two new games to continue my Let's Play series, a complete Let's Play as always, and give me like a hint if you'd like me to do anything else, or just give me your opinion in terms of if you'd like me to do something, any other two games. So I am going for Open TTL, that transport game, and probably going for Prototype 2, or if I said it correctly, I think I did say it, Prototype 2, I'm not sure, I think that is the name of it. Anyways, let's get back down to the game. So far, we do have Supernova going for his, of course, second command center, but I do believe Stfano's substantially ahead in terms of his hatchery, which is nearly completed. Of course, we do have the wall by Supernova, the standard wall. The Overlord is coming in for the actual scan itself, and he's going to be taking out that supply depot. Nothing really much. He is Stfano is sending out, of course, those Overlords in all different angles to get as much scouting as possible. It is a pretty calm, quiet game. Let's just speed it up a bit. There is really nothing much going on so far here. So both players, of course, joining up, getting that production line. We do have that factory coming online, so it is switching up with the factory. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to be going for that early on Harley and Harass, or he's going to be going for that mech build. But so far, we do have finally that bunker being placed down. Stfano, of course, so with two of the queens, and they are going to be continuing that creep spread. They're going to be throwing down those tumors, of course. So down go those tumors. Now I am back. I did forget to crank up the graphics a bit, so I did max it up. So now we finally do have some decent graphics showing. And anyways, let's get back to the actual game itself. So nothing really happening. They are busy droning up. Do we have a secondary? Yeah, we do. So we're going to have a hot swap, of course, with that factory and that barracks, so we can produce those double... No, he's not. He actually did build a tech lab, so he's going to be going in for a Banshee harass early on in the game. Very interesting play. Yes, we do have those two Hellions coming in for that early harass, and of course finally that early Hellion harass is starting to commence. He's not really going to do much against these queens, so these four Hellions aren't really going to do much. He is going to try to postpone the Crete from spreading. That third hatchery might be getting a little bit of damage, but of course we do have 10 Zerglings on the way and the metabolic boost, so those Hellions won't really do much in terms of taking down that hatchery. So a lot of early on harass from Supernova. Supernova is really putting on the pressure. He's going to be going for that hatchery. He really, if he does drop that hatchery, it'll really get him a good advantage. We finally do have the cloak research coming in for the Banshees, so that'll be very nice to see cloaked Banshees coming into play. So very nice scan being dropped down, of course, to take care of those creep tumors. More a spine crawler will be moved into place. A couple of Zerglings in the back. Zerglings really can't do much, especially with this many Hellions. They'll be fried very, very quickly. As you can see, Stfano is really keeping an eye on those Zerglings. He doesn't want to lose those resources for nothing. Finally, that Banshee's coming into play. That hatchery is going to drop very, very quickly, though. There's not really much he can do with that hatchery. Of course, it's Stfano trying to keep it alive as much as possible, so he's moving those queen down and those Zerglings. But a nice little counting from Supernova that pretty much wiped out all the Zerglings, and now only the queens are left. So this is it. One queen drops, second queen is left, and he's keeping that Banshee a little away from the range of those queens. He really wants to keep that Banshee alive as much as possible. Finally, the cloak is complete. He's going to cloak that Banshee and move it into play as well. Here it comes. A very nice play, very nice micro from Supernova. Supernova now should have pretty much dropped that third hatchery, and that is it for this third hatchery. Nothing really he can do. Of course, he's moving that spore crawler away. No, he's actually putting it into place. Very interesting. That spore crawler would drop. What a waste of resources. I'm not really sure exactly why he did that. That spore crawler is a goner, and we do have finally two cloaked Banshees in play, and that's pretty much it. Stfano, of course, sending down all those Zerglings, but Zerglings against this many Hellions are pretty much really up against a downhill battle. He's trying to make this around, but again, very nice kiting from Supernova. Supernova pretty much being able to mop up the rest of these Zerglings, and that's pretty much it. And cloaked Banshees, of course, finally do manage to take out the remnants of that hatchery and those Zerglings. And that's pretty much it. So this battle has come to a very, very nice conclusion. We do have more reinforcements, more Banshees, a couple of more Zerglings moving down just to cause a little bit of harassment. I don't know why Stfano's going for the Zerglings. He knows that he's not really going to be able to fight against this amount of Hellions and the amount of Banshees. So this game so far is not really looking good for MillStephano. Another scan comes down. He's going to be throwing off a couple more of those creep tumors and preventing that creep spread. So very nice play by Supernova. And we do have... Is he finally going to be building up though? What do we have here? We finally do have the infestation pits, so finally the infestors are going to be coming on, so that should pretty much push out of those Hellions from being able to move forward and harass so much. But otherwise we do see that Supernova's economy is really, really nice. We do have a macro, of course, command center up and running, and he's pretty much saturated on both the bases. He is actually now switching in to a little bit of a mech build, so we're going to probably see some tanks in play, maybe some Thors. I do believe some tanks. We do have that armory, of course, and yes, we do have the 1-1 upgrades, of course, for the vehicle plating, so we do have some tanks and a Viking as well into play. So it's a very nice, a really very nice switch by Supernova. He's finally going to be having some Hellions, some Vikings, a couple of Marines, not really into Marauders though, as you can see. He is really going to be concentrating on that mech build, as you can see, so he's going to be switching, taking care of this destructible debris. He is planning, of course, to move to that third base by that, and here comes a small little harass by Stfano. I don't see that this is going to help much, especially with the amount of Hellions he has to play, so that pretty much calls it for Stfano. Stfano knows that. I don't know, he's just trying to annoy and pick off as much as possible. The Banshee, of course, is trying to chase down, a little bit too slow. Stefano's supply blocked currently now, and he is moving for his fourth hatchery and rebuilt his third as well, so he is really planning to go all out. We do have Raven into play as well, so finally a little bit of scouting by Supernova, and that should pretty much do it for destructible debris. No Spire, of course, at all. We just have the attacks and weapons from 2-2s coming online, infestors as well. And finally Balingless, so we're going to have Balings, Infestors and Zerglings by Stfano, countered by Banshees, a couple of Vikings, maybe one Viking, and probably tanks, I do believe. Is he building tanks? Yes, we do have tank production in play currently, so we're going to have tanks, Vikings, and a little bit of Marines. It's going to be a nice mech bio build by Supernova, so that's pretty much doing it for Supernova. Of course, he is trying to rebuild and respread that Kumar that he lost. Of course, he is going to be taking care of destructible debris to make it very easily connectable, that he can go up and resupply that third hatchery. But finally we do have a couple of Billings in play and a few Infestors as well, so that's pretty good for Stfano. So this should pretty much give him a good strong hand. I hope he puts in some Roaches as well. I'm not sure why he didn't start building off some Roaches. He should really get another scan comes down that should see those Infestors, so he knows that something's coming. And these Hellions are of course trying to harass. They did manage to drop a couple of drones as well, so these Hellions should pretty much drop once these Infestors and Balings come into play. So of course a couple of Fungals are going to be dropped down by the Infestors, and they are going to retreat once those Fungals are very nice around by those Zerglings, and that's pretty much it for those Hellions. So that calls it quits. He is moving down, of course, with that Banshee to cause a little bit of harass as much as he can. Still no anti-air by MillStephano, so this is really Achilles' heel. Very nice. 4 cloaked Banshees coming into play, so this is going to be something to really look out to. We do have those 2-2 vehicle plating, so really very high upgrades coming in, especially for the mech side for Supernova. So once he decides to show his cards of those mechs being placed, it'll be very effective. A couple of infested Terrans being dropped down, and they are of course trying to do some damage, but of course he can't spot those Banshees, so that's pretty much pointless. He's going to be getting a few free kills, and he's moving down towards base. I don't know why he doesn't use those Banshees to go for that production line instead of taking out these units. These are really not going to be postponing or slowing down Stfano in any way whatsoever. Finally we do have that Queen that managed to spot it due to the Overseers, so finally a couple of Overseers online, and finally here comes the push. We do have, of course, what is it, 6 tanks in play with a couple of Hellions, no Marines at all though, so he is really switching to mech heavy. A Raven, of course, moving in, and a couple of more Banshees to reinforce that push. Do we have a Harass coming in from the side? Yeah, we do have a Viking, of course, coming in from the side as well. Finally here comes the push. It's a Viking, Hellion, and a tank push, a tank sieging up. A lot of Zerglings surrounding those tanks. I do believe that should pretty much mop up the tanks. A very poor play by Supernova. Doesn't have those tanks reinforced by any Marines, which causes those tanks to drop very quickly, and that's pretty much it. A very nice win by Stfano. This was a very nice win by Stfano, and a well-earned win by Stfano, I must say, So we do finally have that adrenal gland, of course, usage coming in line. 2-2 nearly complete. I do presume the 3 finally Thors coming in line. And do we finally have the Ultralisks? Ultralisks are going to come into play. He is still not going for those Infestors at all, so he is really going for those Zerglings, Balings, Infestor, and probably Ultralisk build. So of course more expansions coming into play, and Overseers finally managed to spot out those hidden Banshees. So this Banshee harass by him is not going to be much. We do have, of course, a couple of auto turrets being placed down by Supernova just to annoy him just that little bit, and that's pretty much it. And what else is happening? A lot of upgrades. We do have finally the 3-3 upgrades for those Zerglings. So Zerglings are going to pack pretty a good punch now. And we do have 2 Ultralisks coming into play. Of course, the Queen's still trying to expand. We do have a couple of Hellions on this actual scan. Needs to come down. No, he's going to be managed to take out these tumors before they actually hatch. And a scan should drop down, I presume, now anytime soon. He should drop down a scan and take out more tumors since he knows he has an upper hand. No, he decides not to. What do we have? Ground, the 3-3, 4 Ultralisks, 18 Zerglings coming into play. So it is starting to build up into a... Really, it is a mid-end game now, so it's pretty interesting to see. A scan comes down. Here comes the scan. Of course, Hellions moving down to harass a little bit. They won't really do much. The Ultralisk will pretty much chase away the Hellions. Once he sees the Ultralisks are in play, that should pretty much be the end of that Hellion. So... Of course, the rest of the Hellions retreat. He is moving down for the other base. A very nice block by MillStephano. He's stopping the actual placement of that base, and now finally these Hellions should pretty much mop up the rest of these smaller Zerglings, even though they have nearly the 3-3 upgrades ready. I don't know, very mismicro by Stfano. He could have did a little bit of damage and not let those Zerglings just fry for no reason. He didn't even attack them, so he wasn't even paying attention to that area on his map. But so far so good. We do have Planetary coming online, and we do have another Planetary, of course, coming online. So finally, in a way, they are... we would say Supernova is ahead in terms of base-wise. So Supernova, base-wise, he is advanced substantially more than the rest. Very nice Raven placed on the front, so he can't see any hidden movements or buried Zerglings by Stfano, but usually that tactic is rare, so he will probably use this Raven for something else by placing those auto turrets and just be just that little bit more annoying. Finally, here comes the push. Of course, the scan should be dropping down, I presume. If it did, here it comes. And these Hellions, of course, are pretty gonna much mop up everything. We do have, of course, some nice reinforcements by those Banshees going down for that, I do believe, 5th base, and finally the Banshee's cloaked, and another flank by Stfano with a lot of Ultralisks and Infestors, so this should pretty much mop up the tanks, and Thors have got a very nice infestation thrown on them, so that's the end. I mean, a fungal, I don't know why I keep mixing that up. So they have a lot of fungals being placed on them, and that should pretty much mop up the rest of Supernova's units, and only a couple of Hellions left. Of course, drones being pulled off the line, and a very nice sandwich by Stfano, and they did manage to sneak past. He really did need that 3rd Ultralisk. He's really trying to squeeze those Hellions in and trying to pick as many off as he can. So those Ultralisks really did come into play, and he is going to be trying to harass as much as possible. We do have that blue flame upgrade, of course, for those Hellions. Both the Hellions did drop, and that's pretty much it. We do have those 3-3 weapons for the actual tanks and Thors. So a very, very nice play by Stfano. I do believe Stfano can counteract now, and scan comes down as Supernova knows that something is coming, so he's going to be trying to counteract this actual push, but the question is, will he be able to do anything? He needs, of course, the Overseer. Overseer is here, but he really has nothing against the air, so we can't counter it only with these infested Terrans, and he's moving forward, so it means again those Banshees are going to be pushing off, and this is really, really bad move by Stfano. Stefano's going to take a lot of damage. Of course, SCV is being pulled off the line. Everything is being pulled off the line to try to stop this from happening. Planetary is most probably going to drop. The question is he going to go for it? Yes, he is going to go for it. Planetary is going to drop, but he's going to probably lose most of these Ultralisks as well, because he's going to be surrounded in and really squashed into the space. Is there no retreat? Yes, there is a retreat from the other side, so very, very good news for Stfano. Stefano's going to obviously retreat. He doesn't want to lose any more resources, and then he doesn't need to, but he's going to sort of make a stand. I'm really confused why he's going up against this by Supernova. He is going to lose. He should move back, retreat, rebuild, regroup, and then move forward. This is pretty much a lost cause for Stfano. He doesn't have the actual composition to counteract this very nice mix by Supernova. So finally, Supernova is going to counteract that push, so he's going to be moving forward. He's going to catch, of course, these queens off guard, and these queens are pretty much going to drop, but he doesn't really care. Supernova is really going in for the actual, Stefano's going in for the kill. Finally, he's going to be splitting up those units. A Thor drops and another Thor drops, and of course another command center is going to be going down, and he is going in for the rampage. He's splitting up his ultralisk, trying to do as much damage as possible, and that pretty much pushes Supernova and caught him off guard to move back into his base and try to stop this amount of damage that's happening. Ultralisks, of course, are going in for the sacrifice. He is trying to be as much nuisance as possible, and this is very good. Look at all those units being taken off the line, and the production line is really pretty much grinding to a halt for Supernova. Supernova's economy is really much coming down to an end, but it doesn't really matter for this base, as that base is pretty much drained out. This base is coming to an end, and so far he did manage to take out one base, a third macro command center, and another one. So very nice play. Of course, more ultralisk into play, a couple of infested turrets being thrown in by those infestors, and maybe a couple of fungals might be dropped down for these tanks. That would be really needed now, as he is really going up against a very nice composition of tanks, and of course Zerglings being backed up. Zerglings should be moved forward to take care of these tanks. Zerglings are pretty good, and he shouldn't have did that. I did believe Supernova had an advantage having them squashed into that actual thing. These Zerglings are going to be taking these out pretty quickly, as you can see. They are going to be moving forward. Queen being pulled off the line as well, and infestors are moving in. Are they going to place down those fungals? No, more infested Terrans being thrown down, and that's pretty much it. And Overseer is being put into very wrong positions. I don't know why. This Overseer is going to be taken out by that, or if it gets targeted, infested Terrans are pretty much going to mop up the rest. Zerglings moving forward, and a very nice play by Stfano. Of course, more reinforcements streaming across the map. He is not really sure. He is repositioning all the units to the left corner now. He is trying to regroup at a certain position where he won't be able to spot him. So of course the Cloaked Banshee is causing a lot of harass. Really, this Cloaked Banshee is causing a lot of damage. Look at this base. This base is just more 4 mules. A lot of resources being produced here. So if he does take out this base, really the main crystal income for Supernova is going to come to a halt. He really needs to take out these mules if possible and stop this mule production, and that's pretty much it. Really, I would say that the actual resources for Stfano have literally come to a halt in terms of producing minerals. He did lose his main mineral income base, and that's pretty much it for Supernova. It doesn't look really up for Supernova, and now it really does look for Stfano as a much better win situation. So will Stfano move in for that final kill? Because Stfano really has an advantage now. Supernova's base and income has been severely crippled, so he should really move forward and take this moment to his advantage, actually. Just a little bit of harass. Of course, those Hellions trying to produce a little bit of annoyance for that production line. A couple of probes dropped, but that's pretty much it. This is going to come to a quick end, because these Hellions can't really do much. They're going to be chased down by those Zerglings, and that is it. And Stfano should be moving now for the kill. He should really move now for the kill and call it a good game. So he should finish off this game now. I don't know why he's waiting for it. There's really nothing he can do, but a little bit too late. Of course, Supernova did manage to rebuild up his actual mech unit, so we do have a couple of tanks, of course Thors, and a couple of Hellions into play, and really interesting to see what's going to be happening now. We do have a couple of Hellions moving forward, and that's pretty much it. Nothing really happening here, and who calls it? Supernova calls it a good game. He does see, of course, the composition by Stfano and decides that he's not going to be able to go up against that, especially with the amount of units that he has. And this is it for Game 1. As always, happy gaming, and see you guys in Game 2. Bye.